YouTube, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Bergeron from Inaxsys Security Systems. In today's video, I will show you how we can upgrade a module firmware, a DIN module firmware from the GX controller's web interface. Okay, so obviously for this we need to have the GX controller on the network. Okay, typically this is, upgrading module firmware is not something that you have to do at every site, especially if the equipment is brand new, because mainly we keep a good stock rotation and inventory, so the firmware on the modules that we ship to you is typically up to date. But sometimes there's some new features added to the system, or maybe some bug fixes that you would like to solve or to fix on site, by using a newer firmware. So my suggestion would be to contact our tech support team first to see what the issue is and if there's a version of firmware that will fix this for you. And then we will give you the firmware file that is required to do the upgrade. Okay, so in today's example, I'm going to upgrade the firmware of the ICT DIN 4 amps power supply. Okay, so first step is to log into the web interface of the GX controller. Remember that newer controllers are requesting you to use HTTPS. So HTTPS and then the default IP address of 192.168.1.2. When you first open the controller's web interface, you will be required to create the admin login. All right, so you select a username and you enter a complex password, and then you can log into the interface of the controller. Okay, then you have to go under Application Software. Okay, and this page will have basically two menus. One is at the top is to upgrade the firmware of the controller itself. Okay. But in this example, I want to show you how to upgrade the modules. Okay, so typically we prefer to upgrade the modules from the web interface. On very busy networks where you don't want to put the system in maintenance mode, you may want to use a USB to 485 module to go and connect physically to a module and upgrade the firmware with the USB cable. Okay. If you need to do that, please contact support and we'll provide you of the software, which is called Load It, and we will provide you of the firmware file that's required. Okay. So like I said, we're going to upgrade the 4 amp power supply. When I start the upgrade process, like I said before, the system controller will put all of the devices on the RS-485 network in maintenance mode. All right. So to basically allow the controller to focus on sending the upgrade packets to the module that we want to upgrade now. Okay, so from the list of modules, I'm going to select my 4 amp power supply. Okay, I select Upload Firmware, and when you unzip the firmware file, there is two files in there. There's a text file or a PDF file, with the release notes of the firmware, so showing you from version to version what was solved in this firmware version, or what was added in terms of new features. All right, and there's a bin file. The bin file is the firmware file you want to select. So I'm selecting the bin file. All right, I click Open. All right, and basically it's going to stop the upgrade. Okay, so if we look here, the module here was flashed, in fault mode, meaning that the upgrade is in progress. Okay. If for whatever reason the communication is lost between the module and the controller, don't worry. As soon as the fault light is flashing, it's in firmware update mode, so you can always retry until it's successfully uploaded or updated. Sorry. Okay, we're at about 20% now. Okay, when the firmware update is completed, the module will restart. Okay, so that it will reestablish communication with the main controller, and the controller remove the maintenance mode on all the modules, so the system will function normally. Okay, so like I said before, if it's a very busy system, you don't want to put the system down, or if you don't want to interrupt access control on site, you can basically isolate one module and connect straight to it with the USB to 485 converter. Okay, 60% done. Takes about 2 minutes, for the module update, the firmware update to complete, and then you'll have a update OK, a message from the web interface, and then the system will function normally. Okay. In some cases, if the firmware update resets the module to default, you just have to do a module update after to basically send the module programming from the GX controller to the module, and then the module will restart. Almost done. System is restarting the module. You know it's communicating properly when the status light is blinking about once every second. Good, firmware updated okay. Now we want to look in GX, make sure the module is online, showing the firmware version that we just sent to the module. All right. I'm sorry, let me just switch to English. I was just doing a French video before, hold on, sorry about that. So you can change the language from the login screen, admin, no password is the default. So here, site controllers, I want to go right click and module addressing. And now I can see my power supply is online and registered, and that it is using version 1.13.25, which is the latest version for this module. Okay, and if I look inside the status page with events, in this case it's all events, I can see that my module is online. So during the module update, the controller had the communication fault, obviously, because I was upgrading firmware, it was putting the system in maintenance mode. Okay, so this was how to upgrade module firmware from the web interface of the controller. This is valid for DIN rail modules and keypads. Okay, please help us subscribe to our channel, hit the like button below it, the notification button as well. If you have any questions, comments about Protege GX or any other of our products, please send them below and we'll help you getting these answers. All right, thanks for watching.